Those of you who have not been in the competitive dance sport arena for many decades might be shocked by how crazy the costuming on the comp floor has changed over the years. And so I'm going to kind of go through each decade and the overall evolution that we have seen. Let's kick off with the 1920s. So this is the era of the flapper. So the ball gowns tend to be more fitted than they were in the previous 100 years, all the way down the body. There's ruffles, there's more exposure of the upper body, the arms, and so I'm going to give you a little look-see here at Vernon and Irene Castle. Again, this is from the 1920s. Here goes. Okay, guys, now we're going to fast forward to the 30s. Okay, and so now we're going to take a peek at these are Blackpool winners. I believe they won the second and third Blackpool. Timothy Palmer and Ellis Bulwart. And I'm going to show you a side-by-side with Jean Harlow, who was a famous starlet at the time. So you can see the parallels between the current, I'll call it street trends, and the trends on the competitive costuming floor. And you're going to see this throughout the decades, and I'm going to share some fun examples too. So here's Timothy, Ella, and Jean Harlow. Okay, let's fast forward again. We're going to move that clock forward another 10 years to the 1940s, okay? And so you're going to see a more fitted, kind of tailored top. I'd almost see like Leave It to Beaver dressed up. So those square shoulders and that very straight flared shirt or skirt with the crinolines underneath. The bare arms are still in fashion. And I'm going to show you a side-by-side with another pair of Blackpool winners from the 1940s, Charles Theobald and Vera Behan. And I'll show you a side-by-side with 1940s starlet Elizabeth Taylor. So again, you'll see some parity in the styles on the street and the comp floor. Here you go. Okay, let's fast forward again. Now we are rolling into the 1950s. I wasn't around then, but I'm thinking poodle skirt action, although we didn't, that I know I've ever seen actual poodle skirts on the comp floor, but hey, something that looked pretty similar, minus a poodle, with that big old flared skirt. We start to see halter tops as well. We also see peplums come into fashion during that decade. Peplums are kind of like a flare out that comes from the waist, not all the way down, but it's a bit of an overlay over the base skirting, okay? So now we're going to look at a side-by-side with kind of traditional and 1950s wear, as well as on the competitive floor, where I'm going to show a side-by-side with Blackpool winners Alf Davies and Julie Reby. So here you go. We're looking at the 1950s now. Okay, time to check out the 1960s. Okay, guys, so the cuts definitely became more simple then, so we're not going to see a lot of differences in color. It's going to be one solid color often, a very simple, sleek body line with the longer layered crinolines in the skirt, and so I kind of like to relate this to that, typical 1960s Barbie, and you'll know it when you see it. So I'm going to show you a lineup of the Blackpool finalists, as well as that kind of iconic 1960s Barbie doll, and you'll definitely see parallels in those two styles. So here you go, 1960s. Okay, pretty big top line changes in the 1970s. We have kind of that like baggy sleeve type look that's really popular in streetwear. Well, that transitions onto the competitive floor as well. So you're going to see like stuff going on upstairs. I'm not talking about like the 80s styles poofs, though we will see that. I'm talking about more hangy, relaxed sleeves and long sleeves, okay? So this is really when long sleeves started coming into play, or maybe the forearms would be bare and there would be a lot of action going on hanging off here, whether that be a small float or even say a sheer sleeve with some sag to it, so to speak. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're gonna look at a side-by-side with Anthony Hurley and Faye Saxton, and just come out of that popular 1970s groovy style. Here you go. Okay, friends, I have 60 more years to cover, and I'm trying to paint with a really broad brush here. So anyway, I don't want to make a 500-hour video, which I certainly could, breaking down fashion year to year, but for today's purposes, I'm going to follow up with a second video covering another 60 years through today and what's going on each decade. And I know we have many kind of old school pro ballroom dance friends on our friend group here on YouTube. Hey guys, feel free to comment below, because again, I'm painting with a very broad brush, trying to cover a lot of trends. And if there's some things that stick out to you over these decades, hey, comment below, because all of us here, including me, would love seeing your observations. So guys, I look forward to seeing you first thing tomorrow morning. If you like that video, hey, throw me a bone. Hit that thumbs up button. If you want to chit chat about all things ballroom dance every morning, hey, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you join our group. And friends, I look forward to seeing you first thing in the morning. Happy dancing. Bye.